Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Tactics Ogre with your host, as always, Mah-Dry-Bread. We're nearing the end of the game, actually. This should be the fourth from final episode, if I've calculated the rest of the maps correctly. So this is the last time we're actually going to be on the overworld map. Because once we go to the Angel's Headstone, it's just like the siege on the castle, where we do consecutive battles. So the entire map is now unlocked to us. And why are we back in Scabellum? Because I have to show you guys a little bit of an Easter egg. Now, you can do this at any point of the game after you gain the ability to recruit troops. What you have to do is recruit a female team member, and you name her Deneb, which is named after a witch who's usually the tutorial girl in a lot of the Tactics Ogre games, or a lot of the Ogre battle games, rather. Although sometimes she does have a little bit of plot relevance. But she's a witch, so you give her the requirements of a witch, which requires the emblem Vixen's Whisper, which means that she is a girl, and she has persuaded a male to join your team. Also, she needs to have enough MP and enough intelligence. Now, if she's named Deneb, and you turn her into a witch, she will instead become a witch with a heart after it. So she has a unique spray. Instead of Fascination, she has Temptation, which I believe has a better chance to charm, although I think it still can freeze the game. She has slightly better stat growth, and she's able to use summons. So she's an upgraded witch. But the main reason I wanted to show you guys about that is, if you have her on your team, then when you go to Scabellum and you go to the shop, there's one of her pumpkins is manning the shop, and that means there are a few extra items of the Candy Helm, the Chocolate Shield, the Fur Coat and Candy Armor, and Sacrificial Doll and Sacred Stone of Bliss. So extra items, and orbs, which I believe you can only get here. If you get all the Candy Armors, and you also have the Candy Cane that you got from one of the two demon people in the last few stages, and you equip the whole set, then you'll recover 10% of your health every turn. Although the armors aren't that great, it's just kind of a fun thing. However, if you then sell at this shop 5 very rare glass pumpkins, which is worth a ridiculous amount of money, by the way. You sell 5 of them. You don't need to sell them all at once, just sell them in total to this shop. Then you can buy probably the best item in the game, the Fire Crest, which adds a ridiculous amount of defense against every element, against physical attacks, and against spells. And a Fire Crest was actually equipped by that priest in the final quest mode map, so you guys know how invincible these things make you, but I'm not going to be using them. They're a little game-breaking. So, I guess we're done here. Let's move on up to the Angel's Headstone. You know, why can't we turn back? Like, I don't see anything physically stopping us. That's the game's last-ditch effort to remind you, you've gotta bring the spear, the game's unbeatable without it. Not be able to return to the world map, continue? Yes, I think we're prepared. I've bought myself a lot of healing and magic restorative items. You want to come prepared. You have no use for Goth from this point on, so you might as well spend all of it on supplies. Now, just like last time, there are going to be 4 stages here, so let's get on with the first one.
What do you know?
Oh, and of course, that last cutscene, you'd be talking to Sybil instead of Richter if you're on Path A. Speaking of Sybil... Ooh, now we're the ones seeing ghosts. think this is the first time the game throws a Lich at us. I see, now we can't turn back. Actually, wouldn't... Okay. Call me crazy, can't the casters teleport us? Like, we got rings of... We have warp rings, and... What about, Jawan, Brandon, War Zero, and, Super Effector? They can fly and they've got high strength, why don't they carry us? No, that's not what I wish to see. That's right, Alphonse has really grown a pair. I love this animation. Alright, now as you're about to see, this is another one of those missions that are really, really easy if you bothered to level Eleanor, because the vast majority of the enemies you're fighting are undead, which means first turn just have someone feed magic to her, and you can use Star Tiara, banish just about everything on the map. This map is almost entirely uphill and there's a lot of snow, so this is going to be a really hard one for casters who can't warp or fly. You should at least give them snow boots, or else they might even get stuck. So flyers are very, very good here. Of course you want Eleanor on the team. I'm going to take everyone who can move really fast. And luckily, this map does not count towards the whole... You can only, doesn't count towards the whole... you can only bring these people for this map and then the other people for the other map thing, because we haven't had to split. So it's not quite like the last you want to. There's no good loot here. At all. And not that loot really matters now, because at this point of the game, you can't even go to the overworld anymore. Any loot you get now, you'd have to equip right before battle. So, if you're coming not prepared and you need in your count siege, where you had to do that right off the bat, this should be a quick fight. I'll have Fury hang back and feed magic. Now, you can really rush straight for the leader here. If you're on loot from this point on, you're kind of playing the game wrong. So, let's just use Star Tiara, wipe out most of them, and rush the leader. Unfortunately, the leader is a Lich. And Liches have the highest base defenses in the game. It's not major that you kill that demon, but you might as well do it, really, just because it's in your way. He's also a lot easier to kill than the Lich. So, after you've wiped out the majority of them with Star Tiara, assuming you're going to use Star Tiara, you just rush them. If you're not going to be using Star Tiara, then having things like Angel Knights with Banish, or Priests who can use Exorcism, or Cleanse, or any kind of thing like that, really, are very, very useful. Even a Cleric, but a Priest is an upgraded Cleric. Actually, another good choice here is if you're on Path B, bringing Richter, because as a High Priest, he can use any priestly magic, which means he can banish the undead. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have brought Shelly, probably should have brought Rin 18, because she has a Warp Ring. I did end up getting a Snapdragon for Shally, though, which I forgot to mention before. It's a high-intelligence Bane sword. It's, the name is German for knight, but I won't attempt to pronounce it because I'll probably horribly botch pronouncing it. And then all my German fans will be mad. All 3 of you. I think that's what my analytics says. Most of my viewers are from, across North America, although I have a surprisingly large amount of Dutch, Ukrainian, and, Russian viewers, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, ghosts are not really a big threat. No, don't get me wrong, ghosts are an awesome, awesome class to have on your team, but the enemies don't really know how to use ghosts. I don't remember if this demon even has any loot. All I know is it's not worth it. I don't remember there being anything really good here. First few turns of this fight are really just climbing. It's a long map. But with Star Tiara, you can quickly wipe them out. Now you really have to gang up on the Lich, because like every other Lich, ridiculous amount of physical defense. His magic defense is pretty good because of the high intelligence, so he's all around hard to kill. Spells that would be good against him actually would be things like Enfeeble, that they don't do a static amount of damage or an amount based on your stats compared to their stats. Instead, it does a certain percentage every time. I believe it saps 10% of their max health every time. So honestly, this would not be a bad map to gang up with ghosts and use Mass Enfeeble. But bringing Star Tiara along too would still be a great, great help. Unfortunately, the Lich likes to back himself into a corner, so he's not as easy to surround. Well, he's still easy to get, like, pin-surrounded, but it's not nearly as effective as it could be. Let's see if we can get a paralysis. Now, we won't get the leader with it, obviously. No, we didn't get anyone. Luckily, he's got very weak armor on, but he does have Enfeeble, which is infuriating here, which means he can steal our health. I really want to get rid of the demon early on, just because he can summon allies, and that slows things down. So let's get What a Geek to end him by summoning Shenron. Got to get those Dragon Balls. Oh, he did drop loot. You see, here's the part where casters often get stuck. This is why you bring Snow Boots or Warp Rings. It's not a very caster-friendly map. But they can walk up that part, so... In theory, can jump up most of this, so it doesn't impair her much. We'll have Brandon grab the loot. I'm not really worried at all about, the ghost. He's more of a nuisance than anything. If he gets back up, I might have Super Effect or banish him. Pull down Shenron again, this time with an arrow. And hopefully the Lich won't use healing items, but I believe he will, just to prolong things. Urn of Chaos, yeah, not great loot. Just kind of meh things that you could get anywhere else. I think... Oops. I don't have enough energy for Banish, or else I would, just to keep him from using spells. I don't want him using Enfeeble and getting his health back. Yeah, he'll definitely use something to heal himself, because there's no way they're already out of healing items. And he's definitely hurt enough that he would go for a healing item. I'm kind of hoping he goes for Enfeeble instead, and he misses. Because he would be able to steal quite a bit of health from my people. Yeah, Ghost, you probably should have went for Magic. This is an interesting hiding spot, but okay, I guess it is a little... No, it's not really even hard to surround you there. You know what? That was just a bad spot all around. I'm gonna go up right behind you. I can't reach down that far. I don't have the energy for Barren Soul. I can still do quite a bit of damage, though, due to ridiculous strength and powerful sword. See if Brandon can get the finishing blow with a normal arrow. Yep. Oh! I was gonna Ganondorf him with an arrow. Alright, Cudgel. Love the animation for that. Now, does the Lich drop anything? I feel like he does. Star Tiara back, good. Probably gonna be using that on every map that we've got her. Nope, didn't drop anything. Yeah, this game's god is definitely heavily based off, like, the Judeo-Christian god. But they never say it's exactly that god in lore. In fact, it's pretty heavily implied it's not, it's just heavily based on that. Because of the fact that, like, magic in this universe exists, and, like, virtue magic directly draws from this game's god. That's kind of what tells you that, due to the way the priests act and everything, it's not the exact same theology. Also, I should point out now that anytime we're talking to Richter, you would normally be talking to Sybil in Path A, and the conversation isn't just like a carbon copy. The conversation's actually quite a bit different, so they really put the effort in. I really like that they have Richter coming up with these plans, because Richter is like an actual military, trained and educated general. They won't really have an advantage. I've got all kinds of flyers. I think we'll be on pretty much equal footing. Alright, so the next two maps are going to be split up maps. It's the second time in the game we've had to do this, luckily the last time, because it does make my choices a little difficult, especially due to us not having much healing on the team. So needy. Maybe I will, just to spite you. Not really. But I can see what you're going for, I guess. Together forever, baby. Oh, don't you give me that look. You know me and Richter are over it. Alright, the next two episodes will be the Guardian of Memories and the Hall of Corruption. And also that'll mark the third and second from final episodes, which means starting the next episode is when voting starts for what the next Let's Play will be. So make sure to vote in the comments of those videos. Until then, though, have a nice day.